Hello, guys. Welcome to the Florida Chiropractic Society's very special event, an evening with Senator Gayle Harrell. I'm Dr. Brian Moriarty, the Vice President of the Florida Chiropractic Society, and with me is the Florida Chiropractic Society President, Dr. Eddie Martinez. Eddie, how you doing tonight?
Doing well, doing good.
So what's going on with the FCS?
So the FCS, first of all, I'm excited about tonight. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about Senator Harrell, and maybe she can learn a little bit more about the FCS too. So, but FCS this year we were trying to be proactive and have a lot more presence, even though we have been in the past few years a little more presence in Tallahassee with legislation. Getting some stuff done positively for chiropractic and healthcare in general. You know, chiropractic is its premise is disease prevention and health promotion. So we'd like to get us more involved in the state as far as any programs that we can help with that. Other than that, the FCS is working hard, bringing continuing education to the state, to all the doctors in the state of Florida. We have live conferences. We just had one in Orlando, was very successful. And we have one coming up in Naples, October 2nd and 3rd, I believe, and one in Clearwater in early November. There's 3 ways to get your online CE, to get your CEs online now, and also live in person and also virtually, which also counts live in person. So you get to see the seminar and get your credits from the comfort of your home. So that's the 3 options we have now. As far as the politically, we want to make sure that you guys continue to support us. I want to thank everybody that has supported us in the past. And go to our website, www.floridachiropractic.org. Go to the About Us button and continue to support us in the PAC, and you can donate online.
Great. And they can support our political action committee that supports candidates that align with our beliefs. And also they can also support our guest of honor, Senator Harrell, as well.
Absolutely.
So if you like what you hear tonight and you want to reach out and contribute, please let us know. We'll be able to support the Gayle Harrell Campaign Fund very easily. Yeah. So thank you to everyone who has donated already. We really appreciate the support.
Yeah. I wanted to thank also our lobbying team. They're here today. Converge. I forgot the rest. Well, Converge. Government. Yeah. Anyways, they do an awesome and amazing job. And every time we're up in Tallahassee, we have to change our shoes a few times just following them up around the buildings in the Capitol. So a big thank you to them for sure.
Yes, thank you, Jonathan Kilman and Paul Lowell and Carlos Cruz and the rest of the gang. They do a great job, and it's so nice to have friends in Tallahassee that know people, and they do a great job. So thank you to Converge, absolutely. Yep. So without further ado, I guess we'll wrap it up, and we're going to introduce our guest for this evening. And she really needs no introduction. She's the senator here from District 25 here. We have a little video to play, a little intro here. So Araceli, take it away. All right, we have our guest of honor with us here, Senator Gayle Harrell. Thank you so much for being here tonight, dear.
Well, I am just delighted. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, how much I appreciate everything you all do, and especially you, Brian. You've been there with me forever, yes. And he's an amazing guy, very active in our Chamber of Commerce, very active in our community, and very active politically, which
Absolutely.
Is wonderful.
Yes, if you're not out there, getting involved, then they say you're part of the problem, and I want to be part of the solution, and it's meeting legislators like Senator Harrell that we know and love, and we know she's always fighting for us here in District 25. So, guys, to start out, I just want to let you know that Senator Harrell is in an election, and we need to support her. So you can support the Gayle Harrell Campaign Fund in a lot of ways. You can support it financially. We can have street signs delivered to you. We can have a number of different ways, but we want to know a little bit more about her because maybe some of our chiropractor friends don't know a lot about Senator Harrell, even though I've read her bio and it's very impressive. So I wanted to take some time and let's go through some of the things. And Gayle, let's start out with your childhood. You know, where did you grow up? How did you get here to Martin County in Florida? And yeah, tell us about that.
Well, I grew up in a military family. My dad was Air Force during World War II, and then thereafter spent 30 years in the Air Force. And we lived lots of different places till probably middle school. And then he retired and we moved to Sarasota. So I went to middle school. Well, back then they called it junior high school. And went to high school, junior high school there, and then the University of Florida. And met my wonderful husband at the University of Florida. We were college sweethearts.
Aww.
And when we got married, and then when he finished his medical school, he interned in New Orleans, and then this was the Vietnam era, and we went to Park Army Base in Texas for his training, medical field service school, and then went to Fort Ritchie, Maryland. I taught there. I taught Spanish there, and then he was deployed to Vietnam. I came back to Florida and continued getting a master's degree at the University of Florida in Latin American Studies. So
Wow. Cool.
I wind up spending my life doing healthcare.
Perfect.
You know, I did teach for a while. I taught in Hagerstown, Maryland. And then when we first moved, when he finished his tour in Vietnam, he came back to the university and did his OBGYN residency at Shands.
Yes.
And I did teach a bit there. And then I also, when we moved to Stewart, I did teach in our public school system here. But really, in setting up a medical practice, as you know, in setting up a chiropractic practice, it's not easy. And I wound up really essentially running the practice for many, many years. And we were first known as the 3 H's because there were 3, Harrell, Houston, and Holder. And then when the big malpractice issues started and everything, several of the doctors stopped doing OB. So at that point, he was just James Harrell. And I owned a mammogram center. I started that here because it was very difficult to get mammograms, and went to DC to get, the insurance company fights. Yeah. You have the same fights.
Yes, we do. We work with insurance. Yes.
You work with insurance.
A lot of chiropractors
so you understand the insurance fights. So we finally got Medicare to pay for mammograms back in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
That was a big fight.
Yeah.
And so I've been involved in healthcare for many, many years.
It sounds like my practice because in my office, my wife is the one who runs the show. She's the office manager in the back, and she's always doing the billing and coding and all that stuff. And it's funny because she just kind of got thrust into it, and that sounds like a similar parallel that we have.
Right.
And that's great that your husband was in the OBGYN world because a lot of chiropractors work very closely with OB offices. I know our office specializes in pregnancy and we work very closely with them. So there's a very similar parallel there as well. So
yes, I appreciate that very much so. And we have worked back when he was in practice. He passed away 2 years ago, and he had significant health problems before that made him have to stop practicing earlier. But we work very closely, and certainly chiropractic is a very valid part of the whole healthcare spectrum.
Absolutely, and we're very sorry for his passing. Even 2 years later, I know it must be very tough. Hard. Now, you have kids, grandkids. What do we got on the spectrum here?
I have 4 kids, 8 grandkids.
8 grandkids.
8 grandkids. And they're all wonderful.
Yeah.
In fact, I like to say, if I'd have known how much fun it is to be a grandma, I would have done it first.
That's great. That's great. And are they here?
Well, our youngest, Melinda, just relocated back here to the Treasure Coast this last year. Her husband spent 25 years in the Air Force. And when he retired, they debated where to go. And she convinced him that there was only one place to come, and that was Stuart, Florida.
Oh, it's such a special place here.
It is so.
Now, let me tell you this, because when people are running for election, I feel like it's very important to have people who have history in that area versus maybe a newcomer to the area. Your bio says that you've been here almost 50 years in the Treasure Coast.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
We moved here in 1971.
Wow.
Yes, in 1971. And Martin County had 27,000 population.
Wow, we have 162,000 by my last count, yes.
So we have seen it grow and change and have been so much a part of the community and very active in the community, especially in children's issues. And I'm a founding board member of Hibiscus Children's Center and was on the board of Helping People Succeed, was president of that for many, many years, and have been very involved in so many issues here on the Treasure Coast.
And that's important. It's one thing to live in an area for nearly 50 years, but it's another thing to give back. And I'm reading your bio here about how many boards you've served on and your nonprofit work. And it's obvious, Senator Harrell, that you have a huge heart for this community. Truly amazing, the work you've done here to give back. Where does that come from? Like, what's the drive to get involved there?
Well, I really feel that we have to, that's part of our responsibility. And I feel like I am a servant. It's part of being in healthcare, I think. Yeah. You have to have that servant's heart to really care about people and care about patients. And I know you do, and I know all our chiropractors in our community do. And it really makes a difference. You have that servant's heart. You want to help people.
Absolutely. So, you guys are running a very successful OBGYN practice, and then all of a sudden you get into politics. So what was the calling to get involved and say, hey, I want to help even more, not just the small nonprofits, but I want to get involved on the entire state level?
Well, I had 4 kids in the public school system, and I saw what was going on. This is back in the 80s and 90s. And I really saw what was happening, and I was kind of distressed in the lack of accountability to a large degree. And I really, plus running a medical practice, I was seeing what was happening with insurance payments, with HMOs taking over the world, with medical doctors, with chiropractors not being able to make decisions with their patients. Right. And you have authorizations and, second opinions and things of this sort. And I saw the change in the direction where healthcare was going. Right. And I said, I really wanted to be part of making decisions at the state level to really help direct things, to always put the patient first. Right. And I know that's where your heart is. And that is, to me, so, so important when you're making decisions on how people are going to practice their specialties.
Absolutely. So you get into politics, and I'm looking at your professional experience here, and it looks like it's been decades you've been up there. You've been chair of all kinds of committees, and anything stand out in Tallahassee that you got involved in terms of a committee role, or that really meant a lot to you?
Well, one of the issues that I have been so involved in over the many, many years is child welfare. Yeah. And being a founding board member of Hibiscus Children's Center, and I was so delighted that I was able to chair the Children, Families, and Seniors Committee for 6 years. And we were able to make significant changes in child welfare and really putting making the safety of the child paramount. That made a huge difference. And also making sure that we had adequate resources put into the system. We have a very diversified system here in the state of Florida. We use what's called community-based care. And every community is different. Miami is not the same as Martin County. It's not the same as Okaloosa County. Every area is very different. So you want a community-based system. And we were really able to push that forward. And we were really able to make sure that there was that ability to look at the situation, what's going on in that community, and how can the state provide the best care for children who are being abused or neglected.
Yeah. And that's so important. As you know, I'm the father of 3 wonderful children, 16, 5, and 2, and child welfare obviously speaks to me as it does to you. So thank you so much for your efforts there. But then it seems like you've just kind of risen through the ranks from the House now to the Florida Senate. And in this last round here, as the health policy chair, a very important position in the state of Florida. How was that experience?
That was a very exciting experience. We had lots of issues this year, lots of issues. And we had a speaker over on this House side who was really trying to make very significant changes. And at times, what I felt was not in the best interest of the patient.
Yes.
So we had a little bit of a contentious session over the last 2 years, and being chairman of health policy was certainly not an easy job.
Yes.
But, I was able to help craft some policy and at least ameliorate some of the things that the House wanted to do. So.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love about Senator Harrell is that she's always going to fight for us. She is never going to back down. She's going to get those running shoes on and get that Gayle force going, and that people are going to get out of her way. So your experience is phenomenal. I cannot believe how many roles you've held in the House and Senate. And if people are looking for a candidate, I don't know how much more experience you can get than Senator Harrell here in Florida. So that is phenomenal.
And I would add to that in this time of COVID and this economy being in the situation it is as a result of COVID, that experience matters.
Definitely.
Experience matters in how we negotiate moving forward in restarting and jump-starting our economy and making sure that we are doing everything we can do, from keeping taxes low, from reducing regulation, from making it easier for people to start businesses. And we have a lot of businesses that probably are not going to reopen.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to retrain our workforce. And that's where having a wonderful community college and state college like Indian River State College right here, we need to make sure that we have the ability to retrain workers, get them back in the job force, and continue to build the state of Florida.
Absolutely. So Senator Harrell, I have a lot of chiropractors on here. They're giving you a lot of love on the screen there, saying thank you and thank you for everything. But they do want to talk about some of the issues.
Yes,
okay, people want to talk about issues and get your experience. And one thing that chiropractors is very important to them is clean water. Okay, clean water in the state of Florida. And I can say personally, just from looking out in the river, the great accomplishments you guys have done with the C-44. And tell me about some of your accolades in terms of getting the water here cleaner on the Treasure Coast.
But certainly when you look at our environment, and for us, water is everything here on the Treasure Coast. It is our treasure. That's why people come here. That's why people live here. And I have lived on the North Fork of the St. Lucie for 45 years. And I've lived it, whether it is blue-green algae, whether it's fish kills. The releases from Lake Okeechobee have created, just devastated our rivers and our estuaries. And my whole career in the Florida House first and then in the Florida Senate has really been focused on making sure that we put every effort we can into dealing with these water problems. And I was very fortunate 5 years ago, I passed Legacy Florida, which is a major
Huge.
game changer.
Absolutely.
In giving us a dedicated funding source. Every year I would go to Tallahassee and fight for water projects. It felt like that's all I did was fight for water projects. And now we have a dedicated funding source that is going to really work to stop the releases from Lake Okeechobee. 25% of the money from the Land Acquisition Trust Fund must go into Everglades restoration, with priority given to stopping the releases from Lake Okeechobee. For us, it's a game changer.
Absolutely. So we appreciate your efforts there. I mean, the environment is so very important, and clean water is so crucial. I want to switch gears here to veterans, okay? Because I don't know if you know this, but chiropractors have really a strong fondness for veterans. Every chiropractor has tons of veterans as patients because they go over, they serve their country, and sadly, a lot of times they come back and they have a lot of issues, PTSD, injuries, back and neck pain problems, just a lot of issues that chiropractors can help, and it's a natural fit. And you've been a champion for veterans.
Absolutely.
Tell us about, there's a new home in St. Lucie County.
Yes, and I am so delighted. 6 years ago, well, it's taken 6 years to get where we're almost going to open it, but it was a 6-year fight to really move this along. And it is the 7th veterans home state-run veterans home in the state of Florida. And we were able to get it here on the Treasure Coast in Port St. Lucie. I am so delighted. In fact, I was just up there today looking to see it's going to open. It was supposed to open this past spring, but because of COVID, everything got bogged down. So we're hoping it opens by the end of the year. So I was just up there today, and it is just going to be amazing. It's going to have an Alzheimer's unit as well. It'll be a nursing home, and also people with dementia and Alzheimer's. Gotcha. So we're just delighted to have it here. It was a battle to get it. The St. Lucie County Commission, Franny Hutchison, one of the commissioners there, and I were just partners in fighting to get that here, and it's almost here. And then we've done other things as well. I'm just so pleased that we really want to make Florida the most veteran-friendly state. So I spearheaded legislation to give college credit for military experience and training. So for instance, if you're a paramedic in the military, a lot of that should transition into college credit so you can become a paramedic here in civilian life. If you are an MP, the same kinds of things. That training, you should get the credit for that so that you can transition back into civilian life very, very easily. Also for active duty military, we have many bases here in Florida, and we wanted to make sure that their spouses could get jobs. So they can get a temporary license for an adequate amount of time, for 6 months to a year, depending on the license, in order to get licensed in the state of Florida. Right. And they can go ahead and start practicing chiropractic right here in the state of Florida while they are till they get their license, as long as there's certain parameters met.
Right.
So, and then we also started the Veterans Hall of Fame. I am so thrilled about that.
Wow.
Recognizing all these wonderful veterans who have come to the state of Florida and have really achieved great things here for us.
Oh, that's wonderful. The veterans that's so important. So let's switch gears now over to healthcare, Senator Harrell, because healthcare is obviously a big topic for a lot of the chiropractors that are watching here. And in terms of chiropractic, the Florida Chiropractic Society prides itself on being a drugless and surgery-free profession. And we have a lot of division in chiropractic here, where the Florida Chiropractic Society stands on chiropractic being a separate and distinct profession. We went to chiropractic school to become chiropractors. We look for subluxations or bones out of alignment. We adjust the spine to put it back into place, and we follow a principled chiropractic model. And there's a lot of other chiropractors in the state that at times want to muddy the water. They want to bring drugs into our profession. They think we should be prescribing drugs. And, our view in the Florida Chiropractic Society is that drugs can be very helpful, but they should be prescribed by the medical doctor or the trained professionals who have the pharmacology training. We've chatted before about this, about chiropractors staying in their lane. And that's what we really want is for chiropractors to stay in our own lane. Are you okay with that?
Oh my goodness, I can't tell you how I agree with that. Yeah. I totally agree with that. You have very specific training, and you just described exactly what your role is. I am a firm believer in that we have to have a medical team approach. There are physicians who do certain things, and they need to be able to do them. You do chiropractic. You need to be able to do that. Together, working together, that coordination and and really talking to each other so that you are really looking at the patient and doing for that patient what that patient needs. And if you need to consult with a physician to get something else done, that happens.
Right.
And that is the key, to work together, to be a team together, each doing your own specific task in the best interest of the patient.
Absolutely. And like in our office, we refer out to a team of different people. We refer out to medical doctors, PTs, massage therapists, acupuncturists, orthopedics. We refer out to all the specialists, and they specialize in their thing just like we specialize in chiropractic. So that's very refreshing, I think, to hear. And a lot of our chiropractic supporters, I think, would love to hear that as well. Staying in the healthcare realm in these COVID times, I want to talk a little bit about vaccines, because there's a lot of fear out there with now that they're developing a COVID vaccine. We're constantly watching the news, how it's coming at Operation Warp Speed. And I never think that warp speed and vaccine should be in the same, sentence. I'd rather have tried and tested versus warp speed in there. And, I'm constantly in the office with moms, and they're scared, and they're truly scared. They are wondering, is this going to be mandated in the state of Florida? Is there going to be exemptions? A recent study I saw showed that 2 out of 3 people would be scared to get it right off the bat, and some might not want to get it at all. Is there anything you could tell us to maybe put some of those fears at rest about a mandatory vaccine for COVID?
First of all, I cannot see a mandatory vaccine ever happening in the state of Florida. We've just been through a whole lot of discussion in the legislature on vaccines to start with. But I think most likely, to your point, there has been a real push to move forward with the vaccine. And I follow the science. I follow the science on a daily basis. And I read a lot of the journals. And what I have seen is that we have several drugs that have vaccines that have gone to phase 3. And we're actually doing clinical testing right here in the state of Florida, down in Miami, in fact, and around other parts. I think in Jacksonville, in Orlando, Hillsborough, we have vaccine testing going on phase 3. I believe we will probably have something by the end of the year. There might be a vaccine available. The 2 that are most likely are done by Pfizer and Moderna. I think they have some significant logistic problems, though, in being able to transport them. They have to be kept frozen at minus 107 degrees.
Oh, wow.
So there are very few facilities that will be able to have that. So I think there's going to have to be some very careful strategic planning in how you would dispense it. It has to be used within 2 days. 1 or 2 days, depending on the particular vaccine. So that has to be seriously thought out. And the state is looking at that. Certainly the Department of Emergency Management, it would be part of that, as well as the Department of Health. So I'm sure the governor, I've had many conversations with the Department of Health, with Dr. Rifkes over these last 7 months. And that is going to be carefully planned. I think the first people who will be offered the vaccine will be our first responders, our frontline medical workers, our ER docs, our people in the hospitals, our paramedics, our firefighters, our police, our sheriff's deputies, those first responders who are that front line out there. Then I would anticipate, now this is Gayle Harrell, this is not the governor, but I would anticipate then our most vulnerable would be next.
Yeah.
And that is our nursing home residents, our long-term care residents, certainly the workers in those facilities. We want to keep them safe. And also people with underlying medical conditions. So, those with diabetes, heart disease, seniors qualify, those who are, but I cannot imagine that this would be mandated in any stretch in the state of Florida.
Wow.
I cannot imagine that.
Then that puts a lot of people's fears at ease, I would think so. So as we prepare to wrap up, Senator Harrell, Is there anything that you want your supporters to know about you that maybe I haven't covered in our extensive history? Anybody who's maybe on the fence and maybe doesn't know you well, and they're getting to know you here and is a voter in District 25, anything you want them to know in closing that will maybe push the needle?
Well, I think basically I am a problem solver. I really look at what the situation is. And when I take a piece of legislation and I say, what is the problem? Now, we have different perspectives. So I want to hear from a variety of people as to what the problem is, because we may have different views of that, and then what the solution is from your perspective. And then at the end of the day, you take all that together and you try and really find out what is going to work. And I'm about results. I'm about getting things done that are going to make a difference in people's lives for the better. And in order to help them be healthier, help our children learn. And we haven't talked about education, but I think COVID has really changed the dynamics on how we are teaching our children, whether it's virtually or in brick and mortar schools. And I think this is where Tallahassee doesn't know it all.
Yeah.
And we have to let our local school boards make decisions based on what's going on in their community. And this is where parents need to be in control. Parents need to have choices. And I'm a firm believer, whether you want to send your kids to public school, charter school, private school, parents should be in control. So I'm solution oriented, and we have to work together to solve those problems.
Absolutely. And you're a champion of the people. And that's why I think you've had such a great run here in the Florida Senate that will only continue here.
Well, I need some help to do that.
And speaking of help, we do need some help here. So guys, if you like what you're hearing here, chiropractors, we need to step up and support Senator Harrell. I know I personally have, a lot of us have, and the time has come. We would love you to support Gayle and send checks to the Gayle Harrell campaign. Is that where we make them out to?
Gayle Harrell campaign.
If you'd like help on our end, you just contact the Florida Chiropractic Society, contact our wonderful executive director, Araceli Martinez, or our FCS president, Dr. Eddie Martinez, and they will get you hooked up on how to support the champion for the people and the champion for chiropractors in the state of Florida, Senator Gayle Harrell. And I personally want to tell you, Gayle, that you've done an incredible job helping the FCS. Last year, I was up in Tallahassee with you, and you were nothing but wonderful. You and your aide, Karen Sweetie.
Yes,
Karen, we miss you. We love you. I know you're busy working there, but I think the world of her and of you. And on that note, Dr. Eddie Martinez wants to come in here, and we want to present something to you. So come on in, Dr. Eddie.
All right. Am I on the screen there? There I am.
There you go. Come back.
Okay.
All right.
Well, Senator Harrell, thank you so much. And we appreciate all the work you've done in the Capitol in the recent years, and actually that I've learned throughout your lifetime. So from the FCS, from the Florida Chiropractic Society, we want to give you a little token of our appreciation. This award is named after Dr. Walter Aiken. He was one of the founders of the FCS, and he just passed away in July. Yes. And he's very, very proud of having an award named after him, and for you to be the first recipient. Oh. So the Walter Aiken DC Award, Legislator of the Year Award,
oh my goodness,
for your outstanding service and leadership to the citizens of the great state of Florida, September 17, 2020, presented to Senator Gayle Harrell.
Oh, that is so wonderful. Thank you.
You're
thank
welcome.
you. That is fantastic. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. You guys are wonderful.
Wow.
Super.
Thank you so much.
That is amazing.
So guys, there's our 2020 Legislator of the Year, Senator Gayle Harrell, with her beautiful award. And we want to thank you for tuning in tonight, guys. Thank you to everybody who watched. Thank you, Dr. Martinez and Araceli from Martinez, for getting everything hooked up. And a big thank you to Senator Gayle Harrell for being here tonight.
And I want to say thank you for this amazing honor. I'm truly humbled. Thank you.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
So thank you, guys. Get out and support Senator Harrell. And you guys have a great night. God bless. Support this lady. She's our champion. Take care, guys.